ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Bulletcast, the only sports and recreational podcast that is simply just too sweet. I'm your host, the Podfather, and I have with me former big-time wrestling heavyweight champion, El Guerrero. How's it going there, man?
Good, how you doing?
I'm alright, man. So let's just start off with some basic generic questions. When did you start watching wrestling?
Oh, God. Probably in, I have to say it's the 80s. The early 80s I started watching wrestling.
Are you a Hulkamaniac?
Unfortunately, yes, I was a bit of a Hulkamaniac. If you really want to know what got me to it, I used to hate it. Couldn't stand watching wrestling. Couldn't stand it one bit.
Oh,
and
wow.
then I seen, turned on the TV and I was flipping through channels and I seen this guy standing there in a skirt. Who actually was a kilt. It was Roddy Piper standing there in a kilt. And Snuka was sitting in a chair in front of him. And he was mocking him. And Cowboy Bob Orton, of course I didn't know any of these guys' names at the time, was sitting behind him, you know. And then next thing I know, he said a couple of things that Snuka got him mad, then sideswiped him with a coconut on the side of the head and started calling him a monkey and squishing a banana in his face. While Cowboy Bob Orton was sitting there laughing at him. And then Gene Okerlund came on the mic and he goes, "They're going to be at the Oakland Coliseum tonight, 8 o'clock. And I was like, holy crap. I got to go watch this guy beat the crap out of this dude for putting a banana in his face and calling him a monkey, and that's it. I was hooked. I seen everything and all the blood, and something told me I wanted to do this.
All right, so who was your favorite wrestler?
Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper.
I dig it. All right, so about what age did you start training?
I started when I was 17.
All right.
Yeah, I started training when I was 17, Woody Farmer School Wrestling, and that was the only school there was besides, I think Buzz Sawyer had a school.
Okay.
And then he opened that up a couple years after, but that was it for California.
All right. So tell us about your first match. Like, do you remember, like, exactly what happened that day? Did the match go according to the plan, or what happened?
Well, my first match wasn't even supposed to be my first match. My first match was going to be refereeing. And we went up to Reading. And it was me and Shane Kody.
All right.
And he was, of course, a heel back then. Yeah, go figure. He was a heel and I was the baby face. But I was, you know, I was probably a couple of months into training, and we got up there and somebody didn't show up. So his old man tells me, he goes, my nickname's Brittle. He goes, "Hey, Brittle," he goes, "you got to put those, bring those trunks you brought up with you." He goes, "'cause you're going to fight against Kody tonight." And I was like, oh, man. So, you know, it was pretty much a squash job. He had a cast on his arm and everything, so it went good, though.
All right, so did you have any offers from WCW or WWE or any, like, territories back in the day? Like, any big territories?
No, never got any offers.
Were you up there for, like, a cup of coffee or anything like that?
No. Unfortunately, in my day, you know, you had to, I mean, still, I guess you kind of got to know somebody.
Yeah.
But you had to work your ass off, and we would do anything we could just to get out and have a match. You know, the kids these days, they don't know how freaking lucky they are because, you know, we didn't have all these places to go wrestle. We didn't have 8 different places to go wrestle in a month's time in California, you know, within driving distance, man. We were lucky if we had a match every month.
Yeah.
So we'd hear guys having some matches down here and needed a couple guys to work, and luckily Woody would hook it up for us, and we'd go down there. We'd drive, our own gas money, man. We'd carpool down there with a couple guys. We'd help set up the ring, and then we'd have a match, and then we'd thank the promoter after and shake his hand. We wouldn't even say, "How much am I going to get paid?" You got your ass down there, and you worked in hopes to get your ass a little exposure, you know what I mean? So these guys these days, they come in and they want to know how much they're getting paid and where they're going to get put up, and am I going to win? It's a bunch of bullshit, man. I don't know how fucking lucky they got it. Can I say those words?
It's fine, yeah.
Okay,
I'm not going to tell you can't.
Well, I'm just saying, you know. Nobody tells old Guerrero he can do anything, but that's okay, kid. I understand. You know, but yeah. You know, they really got it made these days. They really do.
So, I mean, were you ever one of those guys who, like, worried about being put over, or were you ever worried about doing the job for somebody?
No. Never. I never have been. My whole thing is always I want people to have fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's if you're the champion, I'm the champion. You know, it doesn't matter. It's who can put their asses in the seats, you know. At least with the big time, it is. A lot of the independent promotions, I'm sure, a little favoritism, but that's okay too, you know. I'll put over anybody.
All right.
I don't never, you know, go, oh, that guy shouldn't beat me. You know, you can have a good show, man. Either way, you know.
Well, speaking of being a champion, on January 27th, 2017, you beat Shane Kody, ending his 1,463-day reign to become the new big-time wrestling heavyweight champion.
Yes, I did.
So tell us about that. How was that? Because some people I've heard, they've related Cody's reign with the BTW title to kind of like Bruno Sammartino back in the day with the WWF title, like being a big draw. And,
right.
Yeah, so tell us about that.
Well, you know, Cody's a big tree, man. And I'm persistent. I'll keep chopping and chopping and chopping. I'll figure a way to drop you, you know. I can be a persistent thorn in anybody's side. I don't care who they are. You know what I mean? I'll get my way in there. I'll push. I'll pull. Do whatever I got to do. And that night, I did what I had to do. Trust me, he's pinned me a lot of times. You know what I mean? But I always give him a good beating or a good run. A couple times me and Kaka Man got in there and twisted him up a little bit, you know. But that night, he just wasn't paying close enough attention, you know.
All right.
I got the best of him.
So then a few moments later, Chemo, the fighting unicorn who was the current BTW champion, I think he's like at 462 days as champion, he beat you for the title. So what happened there?
Well, you know, he took advantage of me because, you know, that night, which you failed to mention, which don't ever fail to mention again, not only was I the BTW champion, but I also won the Battle Royal, and that's the first person ever to win the Battle Royal and the BTW championship in one night.
All right, okay.
So mark that down on your little piece of paper there, pal, so next time you won't forget if you ever have an interview with El Guerrero again.
I'm sorry, I'll write it down.
Basically, the way I look at it is Chemo came in there. He started antagonizing me, right? I'm the champion. I'm trying to live in my glory, and he's over there pointing the finger at me, challenging me to have a match. So, of course, I'm going to let him come in. Man, I'm tired. I just fought the Battle Royal. Had to stay in there the whole time. Then I come out, have to fight Kody, you know, and then here comes Chemo in. I'll give it to him, you know. He pinned me. He got lucky, you know. We had another match after that, man. I'm not going to take nothing away from him, man. Chemo's a good wrestler, man. He deserves to be the champion, but if I put my sights on that belt again, I'll chop him down just like I did Kody. Doesn't matter.
All right, yeah, Cody. I mean, not Cody. Chemo. He's had like a tweaked knee over the last couple months or year and a half.
Right?
I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've been gone for about a year, so you know I'm coming back on Saturday. So
all right,
maybe that tweaked knee will get a little twisted around a little more.
All right, so let's talk about ring psychology and putting together a match. Are you one of those guys that like has to have it scripted down? Because I've heard like Macho Man had to have that done. Or are you one of the guys that just loves to go out there and call it on the fly like Eddie Guerrero used to?
Honestly, I'm more of a scripted.
Okay.
I like to know what's going to happen.
All right.
You know,
all right.
when we go out there, just kind of have a game plan. But I won't freeze like a fucking deer in the headlights if it's not going the way it's supposed to. You know what I mean? I can improvise on the spot. The good thing about the way Guerrero does that stuff is because you can read the crowd. The way I got it going, usually my matches are pretty basic, you know. So I can pretty much pull anybody into what I'm doing. Not trying to say I'm a great heel, but I'm pretty decent at being a heel. So I can pull everybody into what I'm doing, you know, at the time. And the good thing about the Guerrero matches is like they'd go out there in the old days and maybe this crowd's not going to fall for this shit. So you got to switch it up. You know, you got to be able to see what they're going for that night, you know, and put it into your match. But I try to keep my matches pretty simple, you know.
Yeah. So speaking of like calling an audible out there if the crowd doesn't want to go with it, do you remember a time where that happened and you really just had to switch everything up?
Well, you start, you know, the worst thing you want to hear is the boring chant.
Yeah.
That's like a fucking shotgun to the head.
Well,
for
nowadays
any
the boring
wrestler.
chant becomes the CM Punk chant or something like that, or people
Right.
are in the crowd playing with beach balls and stuff like that nowadays.
Right. You look out at the crowd and you start seeing them, they're all fucking with their cell phones. You know you're having a bad match. The only thing I can think of where I improvise a lot is when somebody fucks up. You know, I had one match. This guy, we were fighting an icebox show, and we were fighting a three-way, and it was me and another heel, and it was his first time out, so he comes out and he's slapping hands, and I'm like, what's this guy doing? You know, high-fiving everybody on the way in, and then some self-proclaimed champ, I can't remember what his name was, comes in, and anyways, we were gonna finish it up with me and this guy. You know, it was a three-way, so we're trying to get the pin. And me and him start arguing, and then I do something to him. Can't remember what I did to him when he was about to pin him. I toss him out, and by the time I turn around, this guy's going to do a springboard off the top rope. You know, a springboard. He's going to do a springboard, and he's going to hit me with a what's that fucking? Goddamn. I don't even know the new names of the moves. I'm so fucking old.
What was it, like a cutter or?
Yeah, some bullshit like that. So he jumps up, goes to do the springboard. I'm turned around looking at him, and he fucking slips off the rope, fucking face first down on the mat, ass is sticking straight up in the air. I'm just looking at him like, you fucked up. God damn it. So I run over, start kicking the shit out of him, you know.
Yeah.
Pick him up, bring him over, go hook him up for a suplex, and I'm telling him, hey, man, fucking, you know, stop, you know, fucking block the suplex and give me one, you know, let's go to the finish, you know. He's like, what? I'm like, fucking, come on, block the suplex. So he blocks it, gives me one. Go on the finish, 1, 2, 3, we go out in the back. And this guy's a champ, mind you. He looks at me and goes, hey man, thanks. He goes, I didn't know what to do. You fucking not know what to do. Guys will stand there and be like, that's the problem with the scripting. If you script and then something goes wrong, guys will fucking stand there and look like, or they do this face like when you go out of the ring and you get hurt, they'll do this face like, motherfucker, you're trying to fucking hurt me. Do a face like, yeah, I just hurt you. You fuck, get the fuck out of here. This is my fucking ring. You know what I mean? That's the worst thing, man. These guys can't sell. These guys can't fucking sell. And then when they do sell, motherfuckers look at you like, are you really hurt?
All right.
Yeah.
So, what's the most heelish thing you've ever done in your career or in a match?
I have to say that. I'd have to say when I took the belt from Kody.
Ah. Okay.
You know, I used the old salt, pulled it out of my knee pad, salted his eyes, got him good too. Right, I mean right in the face. Salted his eyes up, got the pin. You know, that's one of the heelish things I've done. Besides that, I keep it pretty even keel. You know, I like to talk shit. When I got my woman manager, I'll put her in front of me if I think the guy's gonna try to strike me. You know what I mean? Use her for a guard.
Sticking to the basics.
Stick to the basic.
The chicken shit heel thing.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, with you and Kody, would you say that, like, Cody's Hogan and you were his Macho Man to a sense, or not necessarily saying, like, best friends and then, like, you guys separate like the Mega Powers did, but, like,
right.
Like, you're right there with them through, like, the longevity of both of your careers.
Right. Yeah, you know, I took a long hiatus, so you know, Cody's he's an exception to the rule, man. He's been in there a long time.
Yeah.
Like I said, I took a 22-year hiatus, so I took 22 years of no taking bumps and came back to it and had to do it all over again. But as far as he's like the guy I've worked against the longest ever. You know. He's a dear friend, actually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really, me and him go back. So
I've had Kody on the pod. He's a good guy.
yeah, he's a really good guy. There's a couple people I trust in my life. You know, I trust him with my life, even though we get in the ring and he says, "What the fuck are we doing next?" Huh? what are we doing? Huh? I was like, oh fuck. But no. Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, Kody.
All right. So, what's the worst injury you've ever had?
Let's see. Probably when I came back to training.
Okay.
I tore my distal bicep off the bone. Going to give somebody an arm drag, and I was arm dragging, and they were just still standing there like this. So my fucking whole arm fucking popped back, and I heard it pop off the bone. It just made a loud snap sound. And I knew something was wrong. Grabbed it immediately, and I was doing this, and my fucking bicep was balled up back here.
All right.
That broken collarbone, broken ribs, broken fingers. A lot of bruises, cuts, banged heads.
So some wrestlers, like later on in their career, like your Bret Harts and your Honky Tonk Mans and your Roddy Pipers, they go to like little indie shows, like make appearances.
Right.
Have you ever had any encounters? I know Bret Hart's been to BTW, and so has Honky Tonk Man. Tell us about some other guys that's really big names that have walked through there, and any backstage stories if you can.
Man, we got Chris Masters comes back there.
Yeah, I've interviewed him. He's a good guy.
Yeah, they've all been really good guys, all nice guys. Masters, who else? Samarillo. What's his name? What's that guy's name?
Santino?
Santino Murillo.
Oh, yeah? I was at that show, yeah.
Santino, he was there, and then what's that hardcore guy?
Tommy Dreamer.
Tommy Dreamer. Now, I got to talk to Tommy Dreamer, man, for a while, and he's a really good, nice guy, man. He's got his family, his kids, and we were talking, and he said it's funny because he took time off, and he went to go pick up his daughters from school one day, and then his daughter kept saying, "Yeah, my daddy's a wrestler," and so then like all the boys are standing out there and they seen who's picking him up, and he goes, they're all like, "Holy crap, your dad's a hardcore champ," So that was a pretty cool story, but I pretty much hang out with Kody in the back, man. We just hang out and talk to each other, and I met Tito Santana though too.
Oh yeah, he came.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was good, man. He's a really, really nice guy, man. He I guess he's a teacher now where he lives. And you can tell he's carrying a little bit of a grudge with him, and I don't blame him, man. Him and Pedro Morales were a good tag team back in the day.
Yeah.
And they never made him a champ. I mean, he was a intercontinental champ, but they never gave him a shot at the belt. And I think he would have been a good champion,
Yeah.
And he could have drawn in all the the Hispanic crowd for Vince at the time.
Yeah, I don't think Vince was really like concerned about that at the time, because I mean, in later years, he had Eddie, and then he unfortunately passed away. So then he had Ray, and then Alberto Del Rio, and stuff like that. But yeah, why don't we get into that? What do you think really goes into drawing that demographic? Because I mean, Eddie, he was like the perfect example. He was charismatic. He could call an audible on the fly.
Right.
He could just go out there and just wing it, and it'd be a great match.
Right.
Yeah. So what does somebody have to really draw an audience?
You have to have the right personality. If you don't have it, you can be the best motherfucking worker in the world. You know what I mean? I mean, you could be the best. It doesn't matter. You have to have some type of they either gotta love you or they gotta fucking hate you. If you're right in the middle, you can be a good worker and just not really go anywhere, man. I was gonna say, there's a good worker right now, man. Guy who works that. I'm sure he calls his stuff too. I trained with him when I started coming back. You ever talk to Jackpot, Scotty Ringer? That guy works.
Oh, yeah, I've seen. I went to California school, the Lucha Libre. He was training there one day.
Right.
Great worker. I love his stuff.
Right. Scotty's great, man. He's he's. I think if you were to get the right opportunity, man, he could go places, because he reminds me of like a
Ted DiBiase.
A Ted DiBiase or a Benoit, or somebody's very fluid. He's very smooth. Everything's very, there's no I can work, but I'm more of a heel. I'm just
the character.
I'm the character.
The character takes over.
Like when it comes to my how smooth I am in the ring, I'm not very fucking smooth. You know what I mean? I can get the moves over and stuff and do them, but I'm not very fluid doing them. But Scotty Ringer's good. He's really good, like in that sense that I bet you he could get in there and just call a match. I've seen him just in practice just start calling stuff, and it's just everything just kind of
just looks amazing.
It just goes together, man, and that's
smooth and crisp.
That's not easy to do,
Yeah. Well, speaking of getting over, I want to talk about Roman Reigns, the Rock's cousin, Vince's new golden boy. Right. So I mean, Vince has been trying for the last like 4 years to get the guy over. It just it just hasn't worked. I mean, do you think it's something Roman's doing wrong? Because the guy is dynamic. He's a good worker, great performer.
Right.
Or are the fans, they just don't want to accept it? Because I've been guilty of this myself. Like, we booed Cena for years.
Right.
And then, like, now we love him. Like, the way we chant "You suck" to Kurt Angle, we chant "John Cena sucks." It's just a show of admiration. Like, we appreciate you. We appreciate your longevity. Because,
Right.
Roman, like, I'm not disappointed with the matches he has. He has good matches.
Right.
So, like, what do you think's the deal?
You know, honestly, because I don't watch what's going on, but I have heard, like, I got a buddy that I grew up with, and we talk all the time, and he tells me what's going on, in wrestling, and he's like, he can't stand Roman Reigns either, man. He's like, I can't stand the guy. He goes, I liked him at first when he came out. He goes, but now I can't stand him. He goes, I don't know what it is. And it's funny, because he was just telling me that the other day. He goes, I don't know what it is. I just can't stand him. I think it just might be where wrestling's gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gone to a place where, how many finish moves can you do?
Yeah, that's another thing for me. Like, I enjoy when, like, the finishing move ends the match.
Right.
Because, like, back when I was a kid, like, super kick Shawn Michaels ended the match. The
Right.
super kick is, like, the new punch or the new clothesline. Like,
Right.
I don't like it personally. Because, like, I'm a fan of, like, the old school, like, the move ends the match. Or sometimes you don't even need a finisher to end the match. You can roll a guy up, or you can
Right.
do some stuff like that. But going back to the whole Roman thing, like, I think when they realized Vince was going to choose this guy, they were like, nah, we don't like it. Because wrestling fans today, like, we want something new. They gave us Jinder Mahal as WWE champion. Boo, this sucks, we don't like it. So, like, what do you think's that's the whole deal with fans, too?
Yeah, I think they want it to be their choice.
Yeah. They want the internet darling or the indie darling. We've had those guys as champion, like a CM Punk or a Daniel Bryan, a Seth Rollins.
Right.
But they don't want, like, the new chosen guy
Right.
to be the face of the company.
Right, and I don't know where Roman Reigns come from. Trust me, I don't take anything away from any of these guys because they're all, top-notch athletes, man. And, but I do understand that back from the day when I wanted to be in the WWE as compared to now, you were free flow back in that day. It was like, I hope you got a mouth on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I could probably get away with it because I got a mouth. But I couldn't get away with it now because I'm not fluid enough and I don't do all those high moves. I do what you do. I work a couple moves. Man, when people go, what do you do? I go, I do a clothesline, I do a tackle, I do a shoulder, elbow, I'll do a knee drop, and I'll give you a Russian leg sweep and, and maybe clothesline or a lariat off the ropes, and then I'll give you my backstabber. And then that's all I do. That's all I do, dude. I don't try to do a bunch of new stuff. And I can work a match with all those, And then the finishing move is the finishing move, I might go like I did to Chemo, man. I gave him a nice kidney shot, and then went into the backstabber. He kicked out, and I was like, oh, shit. That was my move, He kicked out, and then boom, boom, boom. That's... For me, I think people want... They even though they know it's fake, they've taken it too far, and people still want a story. Like, for me, it's hard to see the story that they're that they're trying to portray. When I get back in there and I do my thing, and it's so simple. It's a simple story. Yeah. And then, boom, I get pinned. Everybody's like, you got stupid ass, For me, it works like that for me. But I just think that I think maybe, I'm not sure, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember, did Roman Reigns come out of the Indies, or did they just come out of somewhere? Did Vince McMahon just mold him from something?
No, so he's The Rock's cousin or whatever, and he went to the developmental system FCW, which Triple H took over and turned into NXT.
Right.
And then, like, now that's become a juggernaut of itself. And so he was in that developmental system for quite some time. Then he, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose came up on the main roster, formed a group. And Vince was like, I want that guy. And then so he started to get this push, won the 2015 Royal Rumble, got booed out of the building. Right. At the main event with Brock, Vince called an audible, had Seth cash in, and all this stuff has kept progressing. And then even at this past year's WrestleMania, the match between him and Brock for the Universal title, it was a good match. The crowd didn't give it a chance. And then Vince swerved us by having Brock win. He did the same thing at that Greatest Royal Rumble thing they just had last week. Brock won. Vince kept swerving us, so maybe is he listening to the crowd? Like, we don't want this guy, or I'm not exactly sure. I mean, what I think, and this is like the typical thing, oh, turn him heel, but I mean, it's worked in the past.
Right.
Rock is the greatest example. He was this happy, smiling guy, turned heel, went to the NOD, Nation of Domination, became a huge star.
Right.
Like, turning heel it's kind of the answer. I mean, Vince didn't do it with Cena. I think he can do it with Roman, and it will work.
Right.
I mean, of course, the fans are going to cheer him because he's a heel, and that's what they've wanted. But then Roman, he has some quick witty. He's good on the mic. He could work the crowd and get them to boo him if he's a heel.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, do you think you can get Roman over?
God.
That'd be like the greatest feat of all time, you know? Getting Roman Reigns over.
Right. Get him over, man. Yeah. No, that's Vince's job, man. I have a hard time getting myself over. Shit.
All right, man. So, what do you have left to accomplish in professional wrestling? Any other goals?
Retirement.
Retire. Just hang him up.
Hang him up, man. No, I don't. Man, you know, I'll be honest with you, dude. The only goal I have is to have a good show every time. Man, I love it when people come up and go, dude, you were funny, you entertained us, we loved it, man. It was great. Great show. You know what I mean? And it took me a minute because when I came back, I was the heel that didn't want to go outside and talk to the people because I'm a heel.
Yeah,
that shit's over.
I love that psychology.
Right.
I love it.
But that shit's over with, man.
Yeah.
It's over with, man. And I had to adapt to that. You know, I had to adapt to it's okay to come out and shake people's hands and be nice because they know it's a freaking show.
Yeah.
If you want to sell some merch, you better get out there and shake their hand.
Because Chris Jericho, when he was on the Indies and he was a heel, he didn't talk to fans. He said, he talked about this on his pod, the only time you get to see me is when I'm out there doing my job or if you see me going to my car.
Right.
You know, like, and when he was a heel in 08, which I think was the best work of his career, he told the story. He was this heel, kind of like a Nick Bockwinkel type heel.
Right.
And he's in the elevator with a young kid and his dad, and the dad's like, oh, can you please sign this for my son? Jericho stone-faced to the wall, and the guy's cussing him out like, oh, you're an asshole, you didn't want to do this for my son, blah, blah, blah. Because his reasoning was, if that one kid cheers for me, then the whole thing's ruined.
Right.
Yeah, so, have you ever gone to that level of...
No, I get it, but here's what happened. So, when I first came out with Kakamang,
all right,
which I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say anything, but we're not, I'm pretty sure me and him are gonna be back to tag team on the 12th.
Okay.
When I first came out with him, people weren't they didn't like me, and then they didn't like me, and then they fucking really didn't like me when I started coming out with him and sliding in and doing all kinds of stuff, acting as his manager. And then we started fighting a little tag, and then he, left the roster, and then I took over, and then I slowly noticed that the more I came out, the more my boos started turning to cheers. You know what I mean? It's like you get to that point where you're like, what am I doing wrong that these people are cheering me now?
Yeah.
And you're not doing anything wrong. It's what you're talking about before. They appreciate you. They appreciate I come out and I say something different every time. I don't say the same thing. I got my catchphrase at the end. And they're looking forward to that. I know they're looking forward to that because I know they ain't looking forward to seeing a clothesline. You know what I mean? Because they've seen them all night, but they look forward to seeing what I'm going to say, and they can appreciate me as an old school type of heel that comes out and does the old school stuff amongst the new guys, and I'll work with the new guys doing my old school stuff.
Yeah.
I think, and that's where they're going with that, and that's why I started shaking people's hands because, little kids that come up and, might be an ass these days when they know it's not real. You know what I mean? So.
So, you know Devin Danger, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sure you've heard of the the spitting the gum in the little girl's face at the BTW show in Salinas.
Yeah.
He was tagging with Carl Fredericks. So I mean, what do you think about that one? That was that too far, or was it just the next level of heelishness, or?
I love Devin Danger. You know what I mean? very good close friend, man. He's a great guy.
I know.
You know what I mean? He's a really nice guy. He would never hurt any child or intentionally do anything.
Yeah.
I think maybe I never talked to him about the situation, but I think maybe he just got a little overexcited, and I don't think he meant to probably spit it that close in her direction.
Yeah.
I think it's probably maybe, like, I've done that before, spit my gum on the ground in front of somebody. Not like at their feet. I think I might have got a little out of control by accident because that's not him.
And then the kid's father just attacking dude.
To me, where the fuck was the security at?
Yeah.
And I don't know who his tag team partner is. I'm not trying to take anything away from his tag team partner, but in the old days and from where I'm from, man, if I'd have turned and seen somebody other than me or somebody else beating on him, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
I would have took him out. You know what I mean? And obviously he wasn't hurting Devin because he turned around like, what the hell's going on? You know what I mean? Type of deal. But I honestly don't. I think, you know, it just got out of hand by accident. He didn't mean to do that to the child. I'm sure he didn't. You know, I know him, and he's not that way at all. So even as heel as he can be, you know, he wouldn't even do that to an adult. I'm sure it just kind of went out the wrong way. And
I mean, I've had Danger on the pod. He and his club have bit my face.
Right.
The old bike club thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've had a good conversation, man. What's your favorite match you've ever had? Was it the one against Kody when you took the strap off of him?
I want to say that was one of them, but then the other one I had was it was me. There's three. I had one with last time we were out in Salinas before this last incident. I can't remember what the guy's name is, man, but I like working with him. And he came out as he calls himself the what's that blonde kid's name? The little kid that sings, everybody gets in trouble. Justin Bieber. He calls himself the young Justin, or the Justin Bieber of wrestling. Who's that guy? This guy's great. Anyways, he's a blonde-haired guy. He's little, you know, looks like Justin Bieber kind of, and he's a cocky little fucker, and he's great, man. Me and him just, like, we got together in that ring, and we were just like that. I played off of him, he played off of me, man. We had a great match against Kody, and it was actually one of the bike club guys, and other than that was, the Kody match. And then I remember having a match it was a three-way, me, Kody, and Rick Luxury.
Rick Luxury personified.
Yes, I love Rick Luxury. He's a great worker, man.
Great heel.
Great heel. Great old school heel. Does new style stuff, which is very impressive to me.
Just simple, straight to the point.
Yeah, another guy I'd totally trust everything with. You know, he's been around. He's good, like I say, he's a good worker. And I remember him. We were talking over the match. He goes, "Hey, at some point, do you mind if I get to the top, you know, do my springboard and drop an elbow on you, you know, on the throughway?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, no problem, you know." So here I am, fucking laying on the mat. I see this fucking guy. He's probably about 245.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I see him in mid-flight, right head for my chest, and I go, "What the fuck was I thinking, man?" You know what I mean? Because you know, you get potatoed on that shit. There's no holding back anything. You know, he fucking lands on you. You know, so he fucking landed on me. I mean, it was a good landing, but still, you know, it's still 250 fucking pounds being dropped on you.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that was a good match. I like those matches. I'm sure there's a few other ones, but you know. Oh wait, one more. Out in the Stars with me against what's that guy's name? Jack. Comes out like the Tom Cruise, Top Gun guy.
Oh yeah, I was at that show.
Yeah, the outdoor show.
That was a good one. You went over, right?
You want to hear a little detail on that one? A little behind the scenes detail?
Let's go.
So, Jack, he dislocated his shoulder before in other matches. So he's having a shoulder injury, and he's going to be out for shoulder surgery. So they're like, "Okay, Guerrero, you're going to take him out. We're going to make it so you take him out, work the shoulder, work the shoulder, work the shoulder. You're going to take him out. We're going to have him come back later after surgery with this thing. You know, you messed me up, Guerrero, blah, blah, blah. And when I come back, you know." That's why I wore the next match I broke Jack's shoulder shirt out. So what happened is I started working the shoulder, and then at the end I was going to throw him out, slam him into the ring post, and to finish it off, I was going to take the chair and I was going to slam it. I mean, just bash his shoulder with it, you know?
Yeah.
And then the ref and everybody's going to come running out. And I told those guys in the back, I go, "Do not fucking run out until I fucking hit him with the shoulder. When you see me go for the second swing, then you come out and stop me."
Yeah.
So here I am. You know, it's like you're working it, and you're about to nut, you know what I mean? You're about to hit him in the fucking shoulder, and these fuckers come running out and stop it. If you look back at the tape, you can see I was fucking pissed. I'm trying to run around the ring with that chair, do everything I could to get back in there to try to hit him in the shoulder to finish it off, you know what I mean? So it's like we did that whole match for them to just come out and stop us right before the nut.
Wow.
But yeah, anyways, that was a good match until that part.
All right. All right, man. This has been a great interview. You gave me a lot of insight, a lot of good content. I'd like to thank you for coming on.
Anytime.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another edition of the Bulletcast.
You're going to pay me that $50 you told me for the interview, right?
Oh, yeah. $50 and a hot dog. I got you. Don't worry about it.
All right.
All right. See you guys next time.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.